7 military exercises used by special forces that create insane strength. While most people who lift weights do it for health and to look good in the mirror, special forces soldiers have differentiated training. That's why they're prepared for situations that few could endure, like surviving in extreme risk zones. They need to lift their own body, carry wounded comrades, endure pain, and move forward without rest. So today you'll see 7 exercises used by special forces soldiers to build insane strength. No equipment, no excuses, just real strength. If you can handle it until the end, you'll already be stronger than most. But before we begin, tell me in the comments your name and how long you've been training. Exercise number 1, mountain climbers. Mountain climbers are one of the most complete exercises in the military arsenal, and it's no coincidence that they're part of special forces training around the world. Imagine climbing a mountain but without moving from your spot. This explosive movement works practically your entire body in a dynamic and intense sequence. This exercise primarily targets your core, your abdominals, obliques, and lower back, creating a strong center, which is essential for any soldier. But it doesn't stop there. Your quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes are also strongly recruited with each repetition, while your shoulders and arms work to maintain stability. It's as if you were building a protective shield around your body. To execute it correctly, begin in a high plank position, with hands aligned under the shoulders and your body forming a straight line from head to heels. Keep your core contracted. Imagine pulling your navel toward your spine. Now, bring one knee toward your chest, quickly returning it to the starting position, and alternate with the other leg in a continuous and controlled movement. The secret is in moderate speed with total control of the movement. You'll know you're doing it right when you feel an intense burn in your abdomen and slight fatigue in your shoulders to maintain the position. Your breathing should be rhythmic, exhaling when the knee comes forward. The most common mistakes? Raising your hips, forming an A with your body, letting your lower back collapse or arch too much, and losing your breathing rhythm. Remember, your spine should remain neutral at all times, as if being observed by a strict sergeant. Another mistake is sacrificing quality for speed. Start with 3 sets of 30 seconds, with 60 seconds of rest between them. As your endurance increases, work up to 45 seconds per set, reducing rest to just 30 seconds. In special forces, this exercise is often done with a tactical backpack on the back. But before trying to add weight, master the technique. Remember that even Navy SEALs started with the basics. Consistency is your best ally here. Do this exercise 3 times a week and you'll notice not only an explosion in your cardiorespiratory endurance, but also a significant improvement in your agility and coordination. Exercise 2, bear crawl. The bear crawl is an exercise that dates back to the most primitive origins of human movement, but has been refined and intensified by special forces as an unparalleled method for developing functional strength. When you see a soldier executing this movement with precision, you're witnessing years of training condensed into a single exercise. This movement engages practically all muscle groups in your body simultaneously. Your deltoids, trapezius, and triceps support much of your body weight, while your core constantly works to keep your spine aligned. The stabilizing muscles of the scapulae are strongly recruited, creating that solid upper structure you see in military personnel. In the lower part, your quadriceps, hamstrings, and calves work together, developing strength and endurance that will be crucial in real combat situations. This exercise not only builds raw strength, but also develops incredible mental endurance. When your muscles start to burn and your mind tells you to stop, that's exactly where the real training begins. Special Forces soldiers know that this moment of discomfort is exactly where growth happens. That's why they incorporate the bear crawl into their most intense conditioning circuits, often at the end of the workout, when the body is already fatigued. To execute the bear crawl correctly, start in a position on all fours, with hands below your shoulders and knees below your hips. Now, lift your knees off the ground about 2 to 4 inches. This is your starting position. Keep your back straight and your abdomen contracted, as if you were preparing to receive a blow. Begin to advance by moving your right hand and left foot simultaneously, followed by your left hand and right foot, always maintaining this low height, as if you were moving stealthily in enemy territory. The most common mistakes include letting your hips rise too high, turning the exercise into a kind of walk with hands on the ground, or letting them drop below the line of your spine. Another frequent error is taking steps that are too long, which compromises stability. Keep your steps controlled and precise. as if you were crossing a minefield. Many also tire quickly by not breathing properly. Maintain a consistent breathing pattern. Start by covering a distance of 33 feet, rest 60 seconds, and repeat 5 times. Progressively, increase to 50 feet and decrease rest to 45 seconds. For an additional challenge, some elite units practice the bear crawl carrying a small sandbag on their backs, simulating the transport of essential equipment in critical situations. Exercise 3. Sandbag deadlift. The sandbag deadlift is an exercise that transports military training from sophisticated gyms to the real battlefield. It's no wonder that special forces have incorporated it into their regimen. It simulates one of the most critical situations in combat, lifting and transporting unstable weight in adverse conditions. While gym lifters may lift perfectly balanced bars, special forces soldiers need to be ready to lift a comrade, drag equipment across rough terrain, or carry essential supplies. This intensely recruits your stabilizing muscles, in addition to the primary ones like spinal erectors, glutes, and hamstrings. Your forearms and grip are pushed to the limit, while your core works in overdrive to keep everything aligned. What makes this exercise particularly valuable is how it strengthens the trapezius and rhomboid muscles, essential for carrying heavy equipment during long missions. To execute it correctly, position the sandbag between your feet. Place your feet shoulder-width apart or slightly wider, with toes pointed slightly outward. Bend your knees and hips, keeping your back straight. Imagine there's a rod glued to your spine, from head to tailbone. Grip the sandbag with both hands, take a deep breath, and, keeping your core tight like armor, drive through your heels, extending first your knees and then your hips until you're completely erect. The most common mistakes include rounding your back, looking up or down instead of keeping your neck neutral, and trying to lift the weight with your arms or back instead of driving with your legs. Another frequent error is not controlling the descent. Remember, the eccentric phase is just as important as the concentric. Lower the sandbag with the same technique you use to lift it. To train like special forces, perform 4 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions with a challenging weight, but one that allows you to maintain perfect technique. Rest 90 seconds between sets. For progression, increase the weight or decrease rest time to 60 seconds. In advanced training, some elite units do an emergency disposal after the last repetition, carrying the sandbag for 66 feet in a quick march, simulating evacuation of sensitive material. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to science-based information is what will help you progress with health in the long term in the world of weightlifting. Exercise 4. Shoulder tap push-ups. The shoulder tap push-up is an exercise that transformed the classic push-up into a test of balance, strength, and coordination used by special forces to develop critical unilateral stability. This exercise intensely works your pectorals, triceps, and anterior deltoids like a normal push-up, but adds a completely new dimension by recruiting the shoulder stabilizers, rotator cuff muscles, and core muscles at a much deeper level. Your serratus anterior and external rotators are particularly challenged during the tapping phase, preparing your body for asymmetrical movements under load. Another benefit of this exercise is how it quickly exposes and corrects lateral imbalances. If you notice, it's significantly more difficult to maintain stability when supporting your weight on a specific side. This indicates an asymmetry that needs to be corrected. To execute it correctly, start in the classic push-up position, hands positioned slightly beyond shoulder width, fingers pointing forward, body forming a straight line from heels to head. Perform a complete push-up, lowering until your chest nearly touches the ground. Upon returning to the starting position, quickly remove one hand from the ground and touch the opposite shoulder, immediately returning it to the ground. On the next repetition, alternate and touch the other shoulder. The most common mistakes include letting your hip rotate during the shoulder tap, excessively arching your lower back to compensate for lack of core strength, and not completing the full range of the push-up before the tap. Start with 3 sets of 8 repetitions for each side, with 60 seconds of rest between sets. As your strength increases, progress to 4 sets of 12 repetitions with 45 seconds of rest. Exercise 5. Burpees. The burpee is considered by many as the most hated exercise in the military arsenal, and for good reason. Few movements can elevate your heart rate, work practically all the muscles in your body, and test your mental resilience in such a compact package. In special forces, the burpee isn't just an exercise, but a transformation tool that separates those who give up from those who persevere when the entire body begs for rest. This compound movement recruits an impressive range of muscle groups. During the squat phase, your quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes are activated. In the transition to the plank, your core comes into action, stabilizing the spine. The push-up works pectorals, deltoids, and triceps, while the final jump engages the entire body in an explosive movement that develops power through your extensor muscles. It's practically impossible to find a muscle that isn't called upon during a correctly executed burpee. What makes the burpee particularly valuable in military training is its ability to simulate the explosiveness needed in combat situations, quickly getting up from the ground, overcoming obstacles, and continuing to move even when exhausted. Additionally, few exercises can raise your oxygen consumption so efficiently. To execute it with military precision, start standing, with feet shoulder-width apart. Quickly drop into a squat, placing your hands on the ground. Kick your feet back, assuming the high plank position. Perform a complete push-up, keeping your body aligned. Jump your feet back to the squat position, and finish with an explosive jump, extending your arms above your head. Each repetition should be a fluid movement, as if you were instantly responding to a command. You'll know you're doing it right when each transition is smooth, without unnecessary pauses between phases. Despite fatigue, you should be able to maintain correct form in each component of the exercise. The most common mistakes include arching or rounding your back during the plank, not completing the range of the push-up, and performing the final jump without full body extension. Many also compromise technique as fatigue increases. Start with 5 sets of 8 repetitions, with 90 seconds of rest between them. Exercise 6. Cold plank hold. This exercise primarily focuses on strengthening the core. Your abdominals, obliques, and lower back muscles work isometrically to maintain the position. However, the cold plank hold goes beyond. Your deltoids, serratus anterior, and trapezius are in constant tension, while your quadriceps and glutes remain contracted to maintain perfect alignment of the body. It's a full-body exercise disguised as a simple plank. This is particularly valuable for developing what the military calls functional isometric endurance, the ability to maintain static positions for long periods, essential for surveillance operations, precision shooting positions, or waiting in uncomfortable conditions. The cold adds a mental element, teaching your body to function even when all cells are screaming for you to give up. To execute it correctly, lie face down, rest your forearms on the ground with elbows aligned below your shoulders. Raise your body, supporting yourself only on your forearms and the tips of your toes. Your body should form a perfectly straight line from head to heels. Imagine yourself as a rigid board. The key is in the tension. Contract your abdomen as if preparing to receive a punch. Activate the glutes and quadriceps, and keep your shoulders away from your ears. The differential of the cold plank hold is in the environmental element. Ideally, this exercise is performed in lower temperatures, either outdoors in the early morning hours, or even in a room with the air conditioning at maximum. The cold intensifies the mental challenge and increases caloric expenditure. The most common mistakes include letting your hip drop or raising it too high, positioning your elbows too far forward or too far behind your shoulder, and forgetting to breathe properly. Another frequent error is the passive plank, when you're in the correct position, but without the necessary muscular tension. Remember, it's not just about maintaining the position, but about the active contraction of the muscles. Start by maintaining the position for 30 to 45 seconds, rest 60 seconds, and repeat 3 times. Progressively increase to 60 to 90 seconds. Exercise 7. Pull-ups. The pull-up represents the pinnacle of bodyweight training in special forces. While many gym exercises are modern creations, the pull-up is ancestral, a movement that tests the pure strength of the warrior since immemorial times. It's no coincidence that virtually every elite unit in the world uses this exercise as a gold standard for assessing the physical readiness of their operators. This exercise primarily works the back muscles. Your latissimus dorsi, teres major and minor, and rhomboids are strongly recruited in each repetition. Your biceps and brachialis act as powerful assistants, while your forearms are pushed to the limit to maintain a firm grip. To execute it correctly, grip the bar with palms facing forward, what we call a pronated grip, with hands slightly beyond shoulder width. Start with arms completely extended. Keep the core engaged and shoulder blades slightly retracted. Pull your body upward in a controlled movement until your chin passes the bar. The key is in the conscious contraction of the back muscles. Imagine that your hands are just hooks and that you're pulling with your back, not with your arms. You'll know you're doing it right when you feel an intense contraction in the middle of your back, when you can keep your shoulder blades stable throughout the movement, and when the ascent is controlled, without using momentum. The most common mistakes include using momentum by swinging the body, not completing the full range of motion, and letting the shoulders rise toward the ears. Another frequent error is relying excessively on the biceps, transforming a back exercise into an arm exercise. Try to make a controlled descent, as many fail by letting the body fall quickly after each repetition. Try to start by performing 4 sets to failure, no matter if it's 10 repetitions or 3. Rest 90 seconds between them. To intensify even further, special operations units frequently incorporate challenging variations such as weighted pull-ups, like with a tactical vest, and the dreaded commander, where you ascend normally and descend extremely slowly. And as everything in life is about balance, to calm down a bit and move away from the aggressiveness of military exercises, we're now showing on screen a video where we demonstrate movements practiced by the Japanese to heal years of pain and also create incredible mental resilience. Don't miss it. Thank you for watching this far, and may God bless you, my friend.